Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience Podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions.
Which is what the whole book is based on, really.
Right.
April Fool's Day, 2007.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting me. You're not getting me again. No,
Yeah.
I don't leave the house. I don't turn on the phone. I don't, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like I go find a place to hide. You're not going to get me again.
Right.
No.
There's none of that going on.
No.
So
yeah.
you go to Iraq, and
Right.
at some point you're in an IED situation, like something happens when you're.
That was after the prison. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're in an IED attack or something, right?
Right.
So tell us about that.
Okay, I'll tell you that, but I got to tell you.
No, it's fine. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The prison in Camp Cropper was the first 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of the dysfunction happened.
So what are you doing there?
I'm a prison guard.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get back to that, but I'll get to that. So it was.
Well, you were a diesel mechanic, and here you are now, a prison guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the 5 most terrifying words you will ever hear as a soldier are needs of the Army.
Yeah.
Once they say that to you, they're going to do whatever they want, and you have no say, and you're screwed. That's why I was, as an individual augmentee, I was done.
Yeah.
Okay, so Camp Cropper, prison guard,
Mm-hmm.
stupid stuff we'll get to later.
I got you.
Second unit was weird because it was another 5 months, but it was an old National Guard unit somewhere out of Oklahoma, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I just did maintenance with them and did a couple convoy missions, and it was just lame and boring. And in war, lame and boring is a good thing.
Yeah.
It means you're not getting shot at and people ain't trying to kill you.
Right.
So
there's less death and destruction that way. Yeah.
Once you're a veteran and you've been through it, for me, it's like all I want is dull, safe, and boring. Leave me alone. Don't mess with me. Let me have my dull, safe, and boring. Okay. Second unit, I did a couple convoy missions, nothing really major.
Gotcha.
Did a lot of maintenance. Third unit was the second unit was a convoy security company, which means they provided security for the convoys, gun trucks and stuff, and wreckers.
Gotcha.
The third unit was a convoy recovery where they ran wreckers to, military tow trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what happened. So we're outside of Fob Delta, which is, for my take, it wasn't as close to the Iranian border as Fob Garryowen. I mean, Fob Garryowen was so close to the border, we got our asses ringed for saluting officers because it's called a sniper check. So what the sniper's trying to do, they see the first guy salute, that's the enlisted. The second one that salutes is the officer. They shoot the second person who salutes.
Right.
I got my ass reamed.
Yeah.
About that. We were that close. Sorry. We were that close to the Iranian border.
We'll edit it. You're okay. So you're right. So you're not exactly on the border, but you're close.
A lot closer than what I want to be. So here's how it went down. We're outside of Fob Delta, and one of the cardinal rules of the convoy is you do not stop.
Right.
You do not stop. And we were in a MRAP ambulance.
And you don't stop because you're a sitting duck, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And we were sitting in a brand new MRAP. You know how I know it was brand new? My old company commander, I love him to death. He is the coolest nerd ever. I love him. He's like, do you know that vehicle's worth $1.125 million? Before every single mission. Yes, sir. Now, will you let me drive it?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Those things are cool, by the way.
Oh, they're nice, especially when they're brand new. Yeah.
I got a chance to crawl around in one of them at a golf tournament that I played in a couple of years ago. It was a fundraiser for the 1st Marine Division. Here at Camp Pendleton, and those things are cool, man.
So yeah, and they are, and the Army ones are even nicer.
Yeah.
You know, the Army always gets the nicer stuff, and then they hand it down to the Marines.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
That's what
outside
the
the front.
Marines told me too.
Yeah, yeah. The Marines make do with. I
Yeah.
mean, they've taken doing more with less and raised it to the level of an art form.
Yeah.
That's why the Marines are nuts out of necessity. That's why they're
Yeah.
that's why they're so successful.
Yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth.
So, anyways, okay. So we're outside the front gate. We violated the you don't stop outside the front gate rule.
Right.
Okay. So we're sitting there and I'm getting nervous. My medic's getting nervous.
Sure.
All of a sudden, the IED goes off. My theory is it was what's called an Iranian EFP.
Yeah.
An EFP. It's a liquid copper bomb.
Yeah.
So what happens with those things are evil and dangerous. They scared us because it's a big piece of copper.
Mm-hmm.
So you got it, the projectile that projects it forward, but you've also got an electrical charge that warms it, that heats it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I say heats it up, if it hits too close, it splashes off like a hot liquid copper
Right.
ball.
Right.
If it hits too far away, it just bounces off like a hot liquid copper ball.
Right.
But if it hits just right, it will melt through an engine block like a hot knife through butter.
Makes it through the metal. Yeah.
So what they did then after that, once they figured that out, then they started aiming for the windows, the bullet resistant windows.
Right.
And it would have enough kinetic energy to punch in but not out, so it would bounce around like a pinball.
Yeah.
And it would shatter, and it would do. We had a guy had a neck injury where one of the pieces of copper went through his neck.
Oh.
Dude, I cannot overstate how like that messed him up. Like irreparably messed him up. Like to watch him was just, and to talk with him was just, it was painful, dude.
Yeah.
He was not even close to right after that.
Yeah. That's tough, man.
It is.
So what was it that actually happened to you?
Okay, so the IED goes off. And my theory is it was about 50 feet behind me. So I got my hands on the steering wheel.
Right.
I instinctively put a death grip on the steering wheel.
Right.
So we didn't have to, it wasn't a shrapnel issue, it was a concussive force issue.
Right. So the force hit the back of the vehicle?
It hit the back of the vehicle and it rattled my eyes and my sockets and it rattled my colon in my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like rattled. Like there are times I'll be sitting there, I'll drink something. It'll feel like I'm being stabbed through the eyes from the inside out.
Yeah.
And it'll feel like I'm being like something's going on in here to where I get like skull splitting headaches, which is why I drink enough caffeine to kill 10 people and power a small village, because it's the only thing that keeps the migraines at bay.
Right. I got you.
And I've got irritable bowel syndrome because it shook my colon, and it's probably the reason for my hernia.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it shook. I physically felt my gut, my intestines rattling in my gut.
Yeah, so that kind of force really does a number on you. Like
everybody's all about the shrapnel, but nobody's all about the concussion.
People don't realize they don't realize how a concussive thrust like that can have an impact on, like, your brain is rattling around in your skull, right?
That's where my stroke came from.
Right. So your brain's rattling around in your skull, your organs are rattling around in your thoracic cavity. Okay. Yeah. And sometimes you don't get back to being right. You with me?
Well, yeah. And the VA,
because of that force. So,
and I was sitting there disoriented, really legitimately disoriented for a good 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we finally get going, and I'm just woo. And that was most of the rest of that mission. There were a couple other stories about what happened, and here's the thing. Yeah.
Did they send you to the hospital?
No.
Okay.
Drink caffeine, take Motrin, suck it up, and drive on.
Well, this is important for people to understand, though, because there are people that are going to listen to this. We're in 32 countries worldwide now. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And we've been doing this 6 months. Okay. We're over 170 episodes. there are going to be people around the world that are going to listen to your story, and they're going to realize that they had a TBI, right? A traumatic brain injury, or they had some sort of concussive thing happen while they were in the service, and the service never diagnosed it. This kind of stuff happens all the time.
Dude, do you know when I found out about, do you know when I found out?
We have a lot of veterans and active duty military that listen to our podcast. And by the way, shout out to you and thank you for your service, and thank you for your loyalty. We love having you. But I want to make sure we point this out, because this is something that happened to you that they need to know about. Okay, because there are some people out there that before this became what it is today, in terms of what the studies have shown and that kind of thing, before the research was done, they're still dealing with after effects of this. Okay. And I would submit to you that part of this 22 veterans a day that are committing suicide, some of that is from them being diagnosed. Okay.
Hey, let me throw something at you now.
Yeah.
Do you know when I actually found out that I had a stroke from that IED?
It was just now, you said.
Yeah, literally it happened sometime in the summer of 2008.
Yeah.
I found out December 2023, 4 months ago, that I went to Operation Men for the diagnostic week, and they put me in the MRI for 45-ish minutes. And next thing you know, they said, you have a very old stroke. And I'm like, okay, now I know when it was.
Yeah.
And the VA was not responsible for this. The VA, once they don't like you, you get nothing. You get nothing but bare minimum treatment. Once they make you the problem child, once they designate you a problem veteran, you get nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I had to go to my congressman.
Issue.
I had to go to my congressman
issue with the system.
Oh, the system is not broken. Okay. The system, I got a couple pictures I wish I could have shown that were on my phone. You got a picture where you're doing a valve adjustment on a diesel engine. Minor adjustment. There's another, and that's what the VA wants to say is wrong, which is a bold-faced lie. The other one is a picture of the entire side of the engine block blown out to where you can see pistons and connecting rods. That's the VA. That's what's wrong with the VA. It is completely irreparable. It cannot be repaired. And I literally had a couple guys that I talked to on a Facebook watchdog group that said the VA's only purpose is to produce doctors. That we're what they practice on. It's literally been said. Congressman, this one guy said he was sitting in an office with Congressman Darrell Issa.
Yeah, he's my congressman.
He said there's nothing we can do about it. The VA rules with an iron fist. We can't do anything about them. They can do whatever they want. There's nothing we can do to stop them. And the Secretary of the VA in California is the one who said the VA's only purpose is to produce doctors, and we, the veterans, are what they practice on. That's the truth. So and I have a solution for the VA, but nobody's going to want to hear it.
Yeah, but it's important though. It's important that we highlight what you went through, because there are other people that have gone through this. Okay. And they know, and if they haven't, they know people who have.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like this huge mystery. It is a real thing. Okay.
Right.
It gets misdiagnosed all the time.
Almost on purpose.
It's important that we're able to highlight it so that people understand what you've gone through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just getting it beyond that stage to actionable things that will help fix the problem.
I got you. So you get back, get back from your second deployment.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
Then I have an accident where I rear-ended a guy, which is that's not what started it, but I had my first honest to God, no joke, legitimate flashback. I'm driving back to my cousin's place when we were still talking. And the minivan in front of me stopped. My truck did not. I froze mentally. I'll be honest. I rear-end him. Then I had one of those. It's a Jeep. It had one of those front bumpers where you can wrap chain around it or whatever and pull you out.
Yeah.
Now, let me put this in there. This will come into play in a minute. We were the only internment facility in all of Iraq that housed juveniles.
Okay.
Juveniles under 18. The youngest kid we ever had was 8 years old.
Okay.
There's that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
I rear end the guy. As soon as he pulls his daughter out, I almost lost my mind. Literally almost lost my mind. I'm standing there shaking uncontrollably, barely breathing, barely able to speak, calling the cops, da 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 da.
When is this?
This was, I want to say, I got home in 2009.
Okay.
Well, Christmas Eve day, 2008.
Okay.
My orders were effective April Fool's Day 2007. I got off the bird home December 2008.
Gotcha. Okay.
Christmas Eve day, this was after mob site where you demob and you turn everything in, yada yada yada. I get home. I'm thinking it happened, I want to say sometime in 2010, because that was the impetus for me going into inpatient treatment, because that was one of the most horrible moments of my life, because my body just, I froze.
Mm-hmm.
Froze solid. My fight or flight reflex kicked right in that moment, and I'm barely functioning.
Yeah.
So that
this is
was
2010.
Yeah, roughly.
Okay. So 2010, you start inpatient treatment.
Yeah, right after that. Yeah.
Right. So how do you get to today where you're in a hyperbaric chamber and in a sauna and they're doing the treatment that they did to you just recently?
The VA, okay, I went into 2 inpatient treatment programs, one in 2010 and one 2016, and I just after that I was just the problem with the VA's approach is it's cookie cutter, and it's based on whether or not you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, you get the bare minimum.
Right.
And anybody who says otherwise is lying.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go through the 2 treatments programs. They didn't work at all. And all they wanted to do was throw meds at me, right?
So you need insurance.
Yeah.
You need health insurance in order to be okay. So I thought
it determines your level of care in the VA.
I got you. Okay.
They'll take anybody, but the level of care you get is based on what kind of insurance you have. And anybody who has insurance doesn't get anywhere near the VA anyways. Okay. That's the dirty secret. If you have insurance, you don't get within nobody with insurance legitimately with legitimate problems gets within a country mile of VA.
Why?
There are horror stories. Now, you know what? I'll tell you one. One thing I never got over. My book did not get published until 2 of my buddies died, one of whom was in the book.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened to him, he caught bone cancer in like 2016, 2017. He beat it on his own with holistic care, lifestyle change, the whole 9.
Mm-hmm.
He catches COVID in like 2019, he caught COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
The COVID arranged a rematch with the bone cancer and it killed him. Hmm. The VA, he's screaming at the VA, don't do chemotherapy. I want to do holistic care. Mm-hmm. They basically killed him. He did chemotherapy. They made him do chemotherapy,
which reduced his immune response.
Yeah, exactly. Right? They killed my. I'm going to say it. The VA up in Boston, Massachusetts. They killed my brother.
Yeah, well,
they killed one of my Baghdad brothers.
There's a lot of people that were part of modern medicine at the time that COVID was happening that died because they used the old playbook before COVID, right? So they used the old playbook before COVID of, you've got this, we're gonna use this pharmaceutical. You've got this, we're gonna use this treatment mode, right? Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of that went on. Now they look back and they go, oh, we messed up, right?
Yeah. But the VA got another confirmed kill. Yeah.
Well, but at the time they used what they knew. And I'm not making excuses for them.
No. I know that.
I'm just saying, because medicine, unless you really challenge it and you know this.
Yeah.
From you lived it, okay? Mm-hmm. Medicine this is the ailment, this is the treatment, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens is that they don't vary from that unless you really put your foot down and really challenge them in a legitimate way.
Yeah.
you're gonna fall within this parameter. You with me?
Right.
And they're
Yeah.
not going to go outside of that. So
Here's
it's unfortunate that that happened.
yeah, and that's the thing. They almost killed me too.
Yeah.
Here's what happened with COVID with me. I caught
Yeah.
COVID in January 2021, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like right before when I first got it,
Yeah.
they gave me vitamin C and a couple other things. And
Uh-huh.
when I went when I caught it really bad, that my neighbor basically made me call the ambulance and go to the hospital. The only thing my caseworker, who's I can't stand him, I don't
Mhm.
even know if I have a caseworker anymore.
Yeah.
He made sure they sent me to the civilian one, which isn't much better than the VA, but at least it's not the VA.
Right.
And one of my last days at that hospital, like, dude, the VA gave you all the wrong meds. They almost killed you. That's what these civilian doctors said to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so at that point, I was just, I threw up my hands because, and the reason I got the hyperbaric chamber therapy care is because I just went to the congressman, and what I'm doing from now on, the congressman, I'm just going to, he's permanently on call with his representative is permanently on call with me, and he knew the recruiter that got me into the program.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the only reason that the VA would never send me to this. They would never, ever, never. The answer, if you want it and you don't have insurance, the answer is automatically no.
Yeah.
So yeah, they killed my brother up in Boston. They almost killed me 2 years ago. And when he died, after he died, it killed me because he was all I thought about when I was in the hospital with COVID and I was in and out of emotional crying fits.
Yeah.
When the nurses weren't looking. So yeah.
So let's talk about the book.
Yeah.
What made you write the book? What was the impetus? What was it
that
kind of,
was all my okay
straw kind of thing?
I'm in the gym, right?
Okay.
I'm in the gym. It was a nice little powerlifter gym in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I was talking to this dude. I was sucking down my pre-workout just to get ready to work out. It was at night because I was working a job, I guess, and I was nocturnal as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to this dude, and I told him one of my war stories. He was asking me about it, and I told him, he's like, dude, you should write a book.
Mm-hmm.
Without even thinking, I grabbed my ancient MacBook Pro that I had at the time. I get on Facebook Messenger, and what ends up happening is I got all four of my guys, including the one that died.
Mm-hmm.
I got them all on Facebook Messenger, and I said, I want to tell our story. And I said, if you are 99% sure, it dies right here. You have to be 100% sure without hesitation. Da, da, da. The first guy who was in Afghanistan at the time, 3 minutes later, says, do it. I got your back. 3 hours later, the other three guys chime in and said, do it. I got your back.
Okay.
And originally it was just going to be part 2, the second juvenile murder, which is the one that messed me up the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, I need this. This is the kind of story you don't embellish. This is the kind of story you don't do the best you can. You have to get it right because you're going to have other people come out of the woodwork and everybody in the military will then become an expert amateur MP and know everything about detainee operations.
Right.
And they're going to skin you alive.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that I got it right. I had to make sure my guys, I got them all at one point. I was interviewing them all to get all the confirmations down.
Right.
Problem is the confirmations turned into collaborations. Part 2 got so big, I had to create a part 1 for the other. There were 2 juvenile murders. I was talking about the second juvenile murder, the one that happened on my watch, and I made the worst mistake possible. I took it personally. I talked to all my other guys, and other guys come in too, wanting to talk about it. It got out of control, and then
this is so we're clear. This took place at the prison.
Yes.
In Iraq.
Yes.
On your second deployment.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody understands. So.
And that was Camp Cropper. I can finally say it now.
I got you.
So yeah.
So you write the book.
Right.
You get the collaboration put together and you get the book published. Now, unfortunately,
through Amazon,
you lost one of your buddies in the process, but
2 of them really. One that was in the book, and then another buddy of mine who was my intel buddy I helped him finish his book. He autographs his book telling me to hurry my ass up and get my book written.
Right.
So those two guys died. They died within 3 weeks of each other, but I didn't find out about the Mr. Blonde character, my guy who died of bone cancer, until 2021.
Wow.
And
So when did you actually get your book published?
I got it published in 2022.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
what's the name of the book?
We Did Not Deserve the Crapper, the prison we entered but never left.
Okay.
That's on Amazon.
It's available on Amazon?
It's available on Amazon. I'm trying to find a actual publisher that will actually work with me.
Okay.
Because the plan is get the book republished properly, but I'm going to use it as a launch pad for my other projects.
I got you.
Because I felt like a failure because two of my guys died before I published. So this is getting it as making it a launch pad for the other projects for me is a form of atonement, because I feel I can't live with it.
Well, now it's a legacy. Now it's a legacy issue.
Yeah, okay? It is.
So this is about legacy, and this is about honoring those two guys the best way you possibly can.
Yeah.
So, hopefully this will help you. Hopefully we can get the word out a little bit. Maybe we can reach some publishers and see what kind of trouble we get into.
Well, that would be beyond awesome. And here's the thing. Here, I'll give you the 3 projects. Okay. Sure. It's a cookbook.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm doing it in the most rudimentary way possible. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work with other chefs. I'll be the bare minimum standard. And my other chefs will be adding on stuff to make it I'm doing it to make it in such a way that is we'll call it crayon eating marine simple.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other chefs will add a little bit of complexity to kind of build confidence and just make it better. Okay.
I'll tell you what I think is really cool about this is cooking and food is really therapeutic.
Well, it's therapeutic, and you're also rebuilding confidence in one of the most basic skills that a human being has to have, which is to feed himself.
Yep.
So you got that. You got the cookbook. The cookbook will get you from your room, from your cave, into the kitchen. I'm trying to build what I will simply refer to as a hybrid brick oven smoker.
Right.
Okay. And the smoker will get you from the kitchen out of the house.
Right.
And I will rail against pellet smokers.
Right.
Pellet smokers from a therapeutic standpoint are worthless. Because it's a fire and forget weapon. You press a few buttons and you walk away.
I got it.
That's not what we're doing here.
So we're doing the smoker. We're doing the cookbook. What else are we doing?
We're also going to do what's called a writer's guide. Basically, it's not. I wouldn't know basic English if you kicked me in the rear end. I mean, I wrote this. I just vomited my soul up into a laptop, and I found a couple of editors that made it readable.
Right. I got you.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to help you get, okay, you got your brain, you got your mouth or your fingers, and then you got that filter.
Yeah.
What I'm essentially going to help you do is rip the filter out so you get the most raw, authentic content from your brain to either the laptop or the notebook. And by the way, you're just going to go back and forth because you'll invariably self-edit.
I got you.
And I'm going to teach you how to interview people, because if you're going to get confirmations, those confirmations run the risk of turning into collaborations, which means things are going to get out of control.
Right.
And on top of that, I have to teach you how to interview people to the point where you not only not censor them, you are actively discouraging them from censoring themselves, so you get the most raw, authentic content to work with.
Get them to open up.
Exactly. And once you do, I have one guy in the book. Okay, part 2, mine. Part 2 got so out of control, we had to create a part 1. Part 1 got so big and out of control, we had to create a part 3 as a series of short stories that wouldn't fit into the main plot.
Right.
So that's how it's a painstaking, constant refinement.
Well, here's the thing.
Zero censorship.
There's some real skill in digging things out of people. Okay.
Yeah.
Because people want to tell you their story. They're literally dying to tell you their story. Okay.
Yeah.
They just need you to give them permission.
And you got to do it in just such a way where the floodgates just open.
Yeah. So one of the things that we talk about a lot on this podcast is the power of questions.
Yeah.
And you have to ask, you have to care enough to ask.
Mhm.
Okay. And you have to care enough to keep asking,
Yeah.
because eventually you'll get to a point to where the floodgates will open. Okay. And that's when you just be quiet and let them talk.
Exactly.
Right? But you ask until you get there.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
Right.
and it's a real art form. It's more of an art than it is a science.
Yeah.
But it's important that we get there is what I'm getting at. Right.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, it's what you're doing. What you're doing is vital. It really is.
Well, right now I'm still in the design slash fundraising phase, and I couldn't fundraise my way out of a paper bag. So I'm working on stuff because all of this stuff that I want to do costs money.
I got
And
you.
I'm not trying to start a new set of literary projects on a 12-year-old laptop.
Right.
And what I've already got a couple of people that are going to contribute stories. And one of my guys, my Space Force nerd,
Mm-hmm.
he started opening up to me, and he started having weird vitiligo or vertigo episodes
Mm-hmm.
because he started opening up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh crap,
Yeah.
And there's a
They
couple guys in the
start going to those deep recesses that they've got locked away,
Oh
and
yeah.
all kinds of things happen.
Well,
Right.
that's the thing. When you compartmentalize, you got to realize that that compartment is like it when it opens up, things explode,
Yeah.
and then
True.
yeah. So there you go. And that's what I've been getting good at, is helping people get it out. You defuse the bomb first before you open up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it's a good thing you're doing. It's
Mhm.
therapeutic and cathartic for them, right?
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
also gets more data to
Mhm.
the reader. That's a very
Yeah.
important thing.
I cannot overstate
That's
that.
cool,
Yeah.
man. That's cool. Listen, we are out of time, but thank you
Okay.
so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. This has been a lot of fun, Mickey.
Here's what I'm going to say to you. Let me get some progress made on some of these projects, and then I can come back on and show you something
sure.
tangible.
Yeah, you're always welcome back on. You know that.
Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Good to meet you. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Take care. We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.